All right, hello again. Good morning. Welcome everyone. In today's presentation, we'll be looking at preparing your business for the digital economy and moving your organization online. For those of you who don't know us, my name is Ash and I'm here with my amazing colleague, Alistair Smith.
Sorry, I just had it on mute. So hi, I'm Alistair, Business Innovation Manager at WiseNet. I'm responsible for product management and design.
Thank you, Al. Remember to be all ears for some key tips and tricks that we'll be showing you today, as we have an exciting quiz at the very end for you to stand a chance to win a WiseNet hoodie and enter a lucky draw to win a $500 gift card. We're also going to be giving away a WiseNet hoodie to a lucky participant at the end of the session, so stay tuned. All right, a quick slide on housekeeping. We have divided our presentation into two 20-minute sessions, allowing a 10-minute Q&A break in between. I do request that you wait until the breaks to ask any questions. However, please feel free to raise your hand at any point if you have any technical difficulties during the presentation. You can also use the chat option to type in your questions or even chat with fellow participants at any point in time. There'll be plenty of time for questions at the end of each session. All right, so I'll start with saying, like, one of my friends sent me a forward couple months ago that said the year 2020 feels like a movie written by Stephen King and directed by Quentin Tarantino. How true is that? 2020 has been nothing short of a horror movie. We all know how COVID has impacted the education industry, but our focus in today's session is going to be looking at the effects it has had on training delivery and how do we address the overall lack of skilled needs, and mainly the digital skills. The digital skills are now essential for almost all occupations and workers in Australia. So think about how to best incorporate them into your courses, and how do you ensure your educators have the right digital skills they require to run your courses online. As you advance on your digital transformation journey, you'll need to look at different ways to work efficiently. It's high time we accept the new normal and adopt strategies that will help you work without any disruptions. To start with, you may want to adopt a cloud-first strategy that considers cloud solutions before any other for new or updated applications. Aim to retire local storage and desktop apps in favor of modern cloud apps from reputable vendors. Cloud-based solutions like WiseNet reduce complexity and streamline operations, which accelerates efficiency and gives providers like you a competitive advantage. If you're still stuck using Microsoft Office locally, consider the significant collaboration benefits offered by cloud-based apps like Google Docs or Microsoft Office 365. Choose your apps wisely. Look for business applications that offer team collaboration functions. Redesign business processes to make them digital friendly. Moving from face-to-face to distance learning is more than replicating face-to-face learning online. It is about understanding how to mobilize and best engage with your key stakeholders. So much so that video calls and virtual classrooms have become the new normal. The best part is most of these applications integrate with LMS platforms like Moodle. With great flexibility comes great responsibility. We all know that. Most companies today lack the infrastructure, policies, and practices for flexibility in business operations. Around the world, 44% of companies don't support remote work at all. The need for a well-developed company policy is greater than ever now. Flexible work arrangements can work if all the right elements are in place. It's important that everybody understands the expectations of working remotely within your business. Remote working requires trust and takes some getting used to it. By incorporating remote workers into day-to-day management, the culture will become shared and feel more natural. I can vouch for it. In WiseNet, we're not limited by geography or the traditional 9 to 5 p.m. workdays. Implement soft phones and a channel-based messaging system for your staff to chat with their team members anytime, and they wouldn't feel left out. With all the uncertainty at this time, allow some certainty where you can. Now, the best way to do this is by using survey tools. Gather student feedback to redesign your courses and technologies in a student-centered way. Gather staff feedback to assess everyone's ability to work from home. These simple tools can give you the insights you may need to continuously improve your processes. Remember, you have a native integration with SurveyMonkey with WiseNet, so you can distribute your surveys in bulk to learners from within the course office to gather feedback easily. COVID-19 has forced all of us to reimagine how we deliver an engaging and holistic learning experience for your learners. While it presents its challenges, it is also a massive opportunity to break out of old habits and create new, impactful, relevant modes of learning that take advantage of technology and this moment. Increase the use of digital technology to support social distancing, such as video conferencing tools, feedback tools, and assessment tools. Moodle as a platform has the most user-friendly interface available on the market. You can easily upload your course materials, create lesson plans, allow learners to upload assessments, complete quizzes online, as well as attend virtual classes online. The Moodle add-on allows you to sync learners and their enrollments into Moodle and bring back results into WiseNet. Alistair will take you into the details of our exciting new e-learning integration in the second half of the session. Obviously, there are going to be potential risks with any new strategy you plan. AskWare released an article on rising to the challenges of delivering in a changed world. You may want to have a read if you already haven't. The article has some great suggestions. To overcome these risks, when assessing the suitability of a move to distance delivery of a course, it is essential that your organization analyzes the requirements of the training package. You should ensure that you have the right quality control mechanisms in place to administer online learning resources and assessments. You should ensure that clear and accurate advice is provided upfront to your learners prior to their enrollment about the course structure and the length of the course. You can document and retain evidence of information accessed by your learners at any time when you use an LMS platform like Moodle. You can run course participation and activity completion reports from Moodle to regularly monitor learner engagement through their online activity in a similar way to monitoring a learner participation in a classroom environment. You can make using a webcam mandatory to verify learners while they're attending a virtual session or completing the online assessment questions, just to ensure you're training and enrolling and giving the certificates to the right people. Now, at this point, I would like to run a quick poll to understand, how do you deliver your courses today? So you'll have a quick poll pop up on your screens now. So if you could just choose the right option for me. Thank you. Thank you. Keep them coming. Awesome. All right. So there are a lot of people who have chosen multiple options here as well. I did allow multiple choice because you could have different modes, especially at this time. I'm going to share the results with you guys just to see. This is great. 49% of you are already using online tools, 44% face-to-face, 22 workplace, and 56 blended. Thank you for sharing that, guys. I'm just going to stop. Great. So before I go into listing the benefits of using an LMS, as you saw, 46% of you are already using it. I would like to list out some other key features that can help you plan to take your business online, as well as allow your staff to work remotely and efficiently. Now, many of you may be on our old pricing model, which is a license-based one, and you may have had occasions where you were unable to access your account as a license limit had reached. So with the new per learner pricing model, you can have unlimited users, enabling all your staff to access the application at the same time. This is important when you're working remotely, as they no longer can look over a cubicle to ask a colleague to log out. You know, users being able to log in at the right time improves efficiency. You can also, with this model, you're also paying only for the active learners each month. This model is easy to budget, flexible to manage based on your intakes, and is aligned with your business model. Speak to us if you're interested with this pricing model. At the end of the session, we'll be giving away the 30-minute engagement meeting link as well. So click in and book in a time with us so we can take you through the benefits again. All right, you all have websites, but is it ready for this digital change and the upswing? A bunch of experts are at your disposal, from marketing to graphic design, web development, e-commerce, and much more. Book in a time to get your website health check done for free. Again, this is a service we have started offering very new, so book in a time with us. Empower your learners to discover, inquire, apply, as well as pay online. The online enrollment links can be added to your website easily. You don't need any IT experience or coding knowledge. Streamline your manual processes and improve your data integrity. No more double handling of data. Reduce that admin overhead. Use the app to convert your website visitors and sales leads into clients by providing them a better user experience. Administrators can review each course enrollment to check for certifications and eligibilities before accepting the enrollment from anywhere. They can be sitting at their home and still accepting these enrollments. The plugin also creates new learner records for all new applicants and updates existing ones as needed. Thus, checking for any duplicate learners, because obviously, as I said, you don't want double handling of this data and you don't want to be creating duplicate learners there. Set enrollment statuses and enroll them into units. You can further set outcomes for the unit enrollments on the same page, and also navigate to the learner record to further retrieve or verify USIs real time. Now, remember, as I've put in a note in there, during the online enrollment process, you can even make it mandatory for your students to go apply for a USI and submit that during the application process itself. Now, if you're looking for a completely customized integrated solution, then we have our API. Through the WiseNet API and with the adequate development resources, you can connect your WiseNet account to anything. This provides endless possibilities to integrate all the systems in your business into one enterprise-wide platform, which can drastically reduce inefficiencies within your business. What if you don't have the budget to invest on an online enrollment platform or a developer to build a fancy app at this moment? Because I understand, like, it's COVID, low student numbers and all those different things. But don't worry, like, we have you sorted. The sales section in WiseNet is available in all our editions. And the best part is you can assign your marketing staff to access just the sales section. And it's absolutely free for any edition. Create contacts such as learners, agents, and workplaces with key information for each of these entities. You can create your own sales stages and progress each opportunity through the sales funnel and see where everything is at a glance from anywhere. You can even create email templates, send emails, communicate with your contacts, and have all that stored within the logbook in one place. Talking about integration, we have seamless integration with Xero and SurveyMonkey. You can auto send reminders when payments are due from within Xero, get personalized, quick invoicing, track and reconcile payments with ease, and your admin staff can have full transparency and real-time payment information on the learner profile from anywhere. You can gather critical feedback and distribute surveys in bulk to your learners through WiseNet, manage quality improvement through the automation of post-course surveys, meet your compliance obligations such as AQT quality indicator reports and other learner and staff satisfaction surveys with this tool. Communication is a vital part of your learner's journey. Keep in touch using email templates crafted for straightforward and effective communication. You can automate email and SMS delivery to individuals or groups once conditions have been met through our Learn cycles. Use the SMS feature to communicate with your learners in their own terms. Not many learners will read emails, but I'm sure they'll click into a message. Make use of that trend and send them an SMS instead. Capture every email, SMS, or document against each logbook. See all the events in a timeline, making it easy for any staff from anywhere to pick up from where you left off. Anyone with a WiseNet login will be able to follow their own activities. You can assign tasks to yourself as reminders or to other staff members. You can also keep track of your overall team tasks from the Tasks tab. You can receive email notifications when you're assigned a task or a task that you assigned has been updated at any point in time. And this feature is even available for your trainers. So if your trainers are working remotely and if you want to assign them some tasks or remind them to go communicate with a learner about their progress or about your counseling meetings and other things, use the task feature. Trainer app also allows the trainers to have visibility, of course, of their assigned tasks. They can record results for their students, mark all the attendance for every class, of course, send messages to their learners, send SMSs from within the class list in bulk. So let's say, a classroom-based lecture has been moved to online. They can quickly send that Zoom meeting link or any kind of a virtual classroom link through that SMS or the email function. And they can do this in bulk from the Trainer app. Learner app is again a great application for your learners to keep track of their training history, their attendance. Again, as I said, let's say they've not looked at their SMS or their email, they can jump onto the Learner app to see where their class is on that particular day, what to bring, any comments added by the trainers, their documents that you've shared with them from the admin portal, as well as like payments. They can look at all their invoices and overdue payments from the Learner app. Learn cycles. Use Learn cycles to automate the process and ensure the right piece of communication is going out at the right time. Most of your manual administrative processes can be automated with the right tools. Retire those manual processes like data replication and grow your business with Learn cycle workflows. Use triggers to automate tasks and assign them to appropriate staff. Add those due dates and track progress of these tasks. Generate reports, contracts, letters of offer, training plans at desired stages of the student life cycle. Update form fields and values depending on the enrollment stages. Use triggers to even automate integration of data between applications like Xero and Moodle. Choose the logic for what creates a trigger, like the status reasons, which can then automate your chosen workflows. Create those lists and send the information to the right people at the right time. Imagine the amount of time and cost you can reduce with this feature. Improve accuracy as you no longer need to think about when to send it or what to send. Set it up once and forget. Now, it is very easy to set up the Learn cycles once you have your process ready. So get things done quickly and with more accuracy with Learn cycles, as I said. You can reach multiple contacts simultaneously by sending automatic emails and SMS that you have complete control over. You can even enable your Learner app access automatically to send login details along with other key information. You can meet those compliance requirements by sending them training plans and, even like if you have changed the training plan, you can even send that in bulk through the course office. Set reminders for document reviews, quality assurance tasks, as well as follow-ups. It's important to stay on top of all these tasks especially when you're working remotely. Now, if you've not already attended our previous webinars, we had one yesterday. Nalina facilitated it, and we spoke about using effective communication strategies and these features and learn cycles in detail. So if you didn't attend, we do have the recording on our videos page in the Learn resources. Do jump in and watch it when you can. Now, I'd like to conclude my presentation by saying, get the right people in the right positions to create a great team that can identify opportunities in the middle of a crisis and find a way to successfully execute solutions. Don't hesitate to speak to us at any point, because we are here to ensure you make the best use of what you're already paying for. That is me at the end of my talk, but before I hand over to Alistair to present our exciting new e-learning integration, I will just break for the Q&A. So happy to take any questions, guys. Thank you. Great. If there are no further questions, happy to just move on. I'll just stop share after I do this quick poll. We just want to understand what's the e-learning platform you're using at the moment. For the 46% of people who answered, they are delivering their courses online. So you'll have a quick poll just pop up on your screens. Please choose the right option. Thank you. Keep them coming, it's great. 48% using Mural, that's wonderful. I'm sure the new integration is going to work amazingly for you guys. 22% on Zoom and 1 on ANewsBrain, great. Great, I'm just going to end the poll and share the results with you guys so you can have a quick look. Thank you for doing that for us. I'm just going to stop my share so Alistair can continue the presentation. Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Ash. I'm just going to have to set up mine too now, I think.
Yep.
Nope.
Sorry, Al, just a couple questions that I didn't realize. Nikki, you've asked, when you activate online, does the student have to activate this HISN first before you can add them to a course? Not required, no. So Alistair will talk more about the new integration, but the existing integration also, when you enable the e-learning access, it automatically creates their learner profile as well as enrolls them into the courses. So you shouldn't have to do that. And if you're having any issues with any learners, happy to, talk later, just raise a ticket and I'll be happy to help you. Thank you.
Just to check, Ash, can you see the slide?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, let's get into this. So yeah, as Ash said, I'm just going to cover the e-learning integration with WiseNet, and particularly the new things that are almost ready to release to customers. Oops. So yeah, just a quick recap for those who, obviously we have quite a lot of customers already using in this presentation using e-learning, but just a recap for those who aren't. So e-learning or systems or LMSs are not just for customers doing 100% online courses. They're designed really to also supplement just general education delivery. So that's for course content, assessment management, putting, documents or uploading assignments against assessments for their progression. So all that education delivery sort of stuff, but it also helps with the learner experience with collaborating with other learners, and then also just communication regarding sort of specific events within the progression of courses. Whereas I guess the WiseNet side of things is more for the education management, the core life cycle of the learner, not the specific intricacies of a particular unit that's being studied. And so and then from whichever e-learning system you choose, whether it's Moodle, Canvas, or whatnot, an integration with WiseNet is required to help streamline the management process of syncing learners, because effectively you're creating, for an e-learning system, you need to have your learners in there as users, and then they need to be enrolled into e-learning courses. And then as they complete assignments and assessments and get grades in that e-learning system, ideally you want them to be able to be synced back into WiseNet. So the more effective that integration is, the simpler it's going to mean for you to manage that. So our new e-learning integration is somewhat explained in this diagram. So what it means is that you've got your two applications. So you've got WiseNet on the left, WiseNet LRM, and you've got your LMS application on the right. So that, let's just say that that's Moodle. And so in Moodle, we'll start there. You set up your e-learning courses, and effectively what you're wanting to get to is you add your users, being your learners, and you enroll them into those users into the Moodle course. And you may or may not assign those users to groups. So you might have, 100 students in a Moodle course, and you might want to tag 50 of them as Sydney and 50 of them as Melbourne, or some other type of grouping, just so that you can then tailor which trainers or assessors have access or visibility to those enrollments. So that's effectively, the e-learning for Moodle. And so everything on the left is what WiseNet needs to do to help to ensure that integration works seamlessly. And so the two green boxes you see there are the integration points. And so the top one, which is every time a course is added or created or updated in Moodle or an LMS, that now will be synced into WiseNet. And so we have this new concept of an e-learning course in WiseNet. And so then what happens is in your course offers in WiseNet, there's a new section, which I'll show you shortly, where you can then specify that you would like this e-learning course, or this e-learning, it's a requirement that this e-learning course is completed for this course offer. And you can specify whether it's directly related to an enrollment in that course offer, or does this e-learning course link to specific unit offers. And then based on the enrollments into the course offer and unit offers, you then add e-learning enrollments in WiseNet. And so this is all now managed within WiseNet, and it's effectively the source of truth. And then you can enable or disable access to those e-learning enrollments. And so when an e-learning enrollment is enabled, it then triggers the integration that then creates or updates an existing user, make sure the enrollment is in the right state, and then applies the groups. So that's effectively a change in that all the integration now is managed through this new integration, very much like the way that Xero works, and no longer with the Moodle plugins that you may or may not already be familiar with the old integration. And then I'll just go back, the last thing here is the pink box, which is an automation layer, which sits on top of e-learning enrollments, and it allows you to set some rules which determines when it can be automatically enabled or disabled based on course enrollment or unit enrollment start and end dates. And I'll show you that shortly too. So the key benefits of this new integration is it's a lot more transparent and a lot more easier to set up compared to the old model. So it's very visual. What you see in it, or what you're setting up is exactly what's being synced and occurring in the LMS. It's much easier now to set up different combinations of whether an e-learning course is entirely for a course offer or if it's linked to specific unit offers, whereas before you could only choose to do one mode or the other. So now you could have one course that's in one way and then another course that's a different way if you're doing different types of course delivery. It now includes enrollment groups as part of syncing. It no longer requires the learner app access setup. So we've had quite a lot of customers who they'd like to just have the e-learning sort of user management handled independently of the learner app and not have to go through that process. So we've designed this to be decoupled from that. And in doing so, it allows custom authentication methods. So it means that rather than relying on the learner app username and password, you can specify that you prefer that your learners are logging into Moodle and they can just single sign on using their Office 365 accounts, because a lot of customers have that integration already with their learners. There's automated e-learning enrollment access. There was the old integration slightly had this based on unit enrollment, start date, end date logic, but this is a lot more easier and more comprehensive. The syncing is pretty much real time. So as soon as a change happens within LRM or the course in Moodle, it effectively, it's not like on the button click, but within seconds, it should be synced over into the appropriate target application. There's no more cron jobs and waiting 15 minutes and having to resync those things anymore. There shouldn't be any issues with the integration because it's a lot easier for us to implement and test and everything. But if there is, the troubleshooting of these is much easier for the customer and easier to resync. But it's also very easy for us. We actually get alerts now in this new model. That's easy for us to resolve issues and deploy updates, and we can deploy things very quickly. And the integration model is actually the same. Doesn't matter whether you're on Moodle or Canvas, the design is much simpler. So it's easier for us to add more LMSs into this model. So there's a lot of benefits here. It's been quite a lot of effort to get to that. But we're getting pretty close to being able to deploy this. And we already have some customers sort of beta testing parts of it. So just a little bit of a preview, sneak peek into some of these things. The UI is not 100% done yet, but so there's a few improvements we'll be making, but you can get the idea. So here you can see within the course offer section, there's a new tab here called e-learning. And then this is where you set up and add which e-learning courses need to be delivered for this course offer. So you can see here, this is where you add an e-learning course. You choose, and this is the list. When you click on this, it'll show you the list of courses that are being synced over. So say if you got 20 e-learning courses in Moodle, they'll all appear here and you choose the one that you want to sync to. And then this is where you define if it's part of the course offer or you want to link it to a specific unit offer, then you will choose the unit offer code. And then you can set some defaults so that when an enrollment's created, how do you want that to be managed? So you could say anyone in this course offer that is going to be enrolled will have a group of Melbourne, and then that'll just default that group. The enrollment method is what I spoke about before, where you've got that automation. So manual means that you're going to manually decide when you want to enable or disable e-learning access, whereas automation, you'll choose a rule and you can use that. And then once that's set, the rule will control the enabling and disabling of an e-learning enrollment. So this is when you click on, when you're in an e-learning course and you choose to add learners to the e-learning course. So this will show a list of all the enrollments within, in this instance, it's all the enrollments within a course offer that don't already have the e-learning enrollment, because there's no need to show enrollments that already have the e-learning enrollment. And then you can, you can see, well, I'm going to give it to everyone that's current. So you can multi-select, but not disable one, or you could select all or just choose one or two people. It's up to you. So this is one place where you can add learners to an e-learning course. The other place is when you are within a learner. I don't know if I've got that. So within a learner, you can also manage e-learning enrollment. So obviously when you're in the course offer and you're within an e-learning enrollment, so a particular e-learning course, you're going to manage the enrollments for that one e-learning course. But when you're within the learner, you'll be able to see all the e-learning enrollments for that learner and manage it from that way. And then this is an example of the e-learning enrollment rule. And so you can see here, we're creating a rule, and you can say, I want to enable this e-learning and the e-learning enrollment status when the dates are between here. So you can say, when the unit enrollment start date is today, or exactly on the day, and 5 days after. So it's pretty much whenever this date range is met, the e-learning enrollment status will be on. Any date outside of this date range, the e-learning enrollment status will be disabled. So it means that, every morning the process will run and it'll try to find any e-learning enrollment that's currently disabled that now meets this logic. And if it does, it'll automatically set it to enabled, so you don't have to worry about remembering to do so. It also means that you don't have to, give e-learning access too far in advance. This is just controlling everything. And then you can set this e-learning enrollments to have a rule, but then if say a learner withdraws or something happens as part of the withdrawal process, you would just manually override all the e-learning enrollments, set them to be manual, no longer bound by a rule, and you can just set them to disabled, and obviously the rule won't be applied anymore. So that's the, I guess the course, the user, the enrollment, and the group sync, which has been done. And it's, just going through final sort of testing and design at the moment. The other part, which is going under beta testing right now, is called auto grade. And so it's a new feature, which is replacing our grade connector for Moodle. And it's designed to be a lot more flexible than the previous design. And so what it allows you to do is you can set up your assessments and grades within Moodle, and you still have to group them together using grade categories. But there's a lot more flexibility in how you sort of set up your grade scaling or your grade banding and all that sort of stuff, because there's a new feature, auto grade, that looks at the grade value that comes in, and you can set up rules that says when this value comes in for this grade value name, I want to update these units, and I want to set the particular fields to things. So I'll show you how that looks. So in the auto grade, this is another section to set up, and so you can give a name. And so here we're saying when a grade is, say, satisfactory, then set the outcome to this and update the end date to this. But you could say, well, I don't want to update the end date, and remove that option. You could add the result field if you'd like to, set a result of something more than this, because the grade that comes in here could be an A+. So you might want to set A+ in result, but still set an outcome of 20 for the eventmas field. And for different countries, they have different fields as well, depending, because different countries have different requirements in terms of the fields they need to set. And then the other option is, instead of being value based, so when grade is, you can do it by a range. So that means that in, say, Moodle, you can say the value for this grade is 90. And so when 90 comes in, you can say when the grade is between 80 and 100, set the result to, distinction, an outcome of 20. But then you could say if the value is between 0 and 50, then it's a fail. Update the outcome to a 30, and the result to a failure or whatever. So it's quite flexible. So you set up these rules. Some customers may only have one type of grade scaling and set up one rule, but you can set up as many rules as you require. And then you just need to go up and assign for the unit offer what the the auto grade rule is for this unit offer. And then there's these things called auto grade activities that whenever a grade event occurs in your LMS, it will get processed and will determine, obviously we need to map who the user is in the LMS. We determine what's been set up for the grade category in terms of the name, so we can determine what unit codes it needs to be mapped to. So effectively, we're trying to find unit enrollments. And then there's a specific grade that comes in. So you can see in this scenario, these auto grade activities are grouped by auto graded, to review, and acknowledged. And so the auto graded ones are where we have a learner, a record has come in from Moodle. We've been able to identify from that the user and map it to a learner in WiseNet. And we've been able to identify one or more unit enrollments. So you can see here, this one's got 2. But yeah, one or more unit enrollments that map to that grade event. And then we have the grade value that came in. So then what happens is we say, well, for that unit enrollment, go find the auto grade rule, pass this value through it and determine what it needs to do. So in this case, it's found that we had to update the result to this and set the end date to this. There was no change to outcome. We probably could have used better data here to showcase, outcomes being changed, but it is what it is. So that's the happy path. This auto happens, and the reason why it's all here in auto graded is for transparency to everyone that this has been happening, because this occurs automatically. And there's a new dashboard when you log into WiseNet that shows you the count of auto graded activities for the past 30 days, so you can be monitoring that that's happening. But there are situations that if the auto grade rule hasn't been set up properly, the user doesn't map properly, or the grade or the unit enrollments don't map, we can't just do something. It's, there needs to be some form of logic mapping happening. So they will go into the to review column. And then that will also be flagged in the dashboard, so people are aware that there's items that have come in, grade events have come in, but we weren't able to do anything. And we'll supply as much info as we can so that you can determine what you need to do, and then you can go and do those things and then acknowledge them. So effectively, we want to have nothing in the to review column. And that's, pretty much it in terms of the new integrations. Like I said, we do have a couple of customers testing the auto grade. The e-learning integrations is going through final testing with us before we roll out some beta testing. But within the next month, we're hoping that we'll be able to start moving some customers over to the new integration. And we're in the process of updating our resources in Learn to reflect, I guess, the new design and structures. And obviously we need to have a very clear transition process of how to, enable these new integrations, what to do to set it up, and then how to transition so that there's no disruptance to your business as well. So there's going to be a little bit of new learning around that, but I think the benefits are definitely going to outweigh that little bit of setup that needs to happen. So I'll leave it at that. I haven't checked to see if there's any questions, but I'll hand back over to Ash but I'll answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Al. There's actually a question from Andrew. He's asked, is autograde function only applicable to e-learning connection between Moodle or any other LMS in WiseNet, or will it work within WiseNet itself?
Yeah, so the autograde feature, it's designed it's designed to be able to plumb into anything. So we first had a big need to get this working with Moodle and other LMSs, but there is a thought to simplify the the grading process, particularly for things like the trainer portal. So rather than giving trainers an open-ended sort of set of, they can pretty much change any of these fields like end date, outcome, result, all those things. We could effectively change it so that when they go to grade like a unit enrollment, they actually won't get any of these fields about outcome. They don't need to know anything about outcomes. All they need to do So if they've set up values, if you've set up these rules and there's, say, 7 different grade values that they can choose from, they'll just get a drop down with those 7 values. They'll click one of them, save it, and then that will raise a grade event to effectively do the same rule processing. But we know we don't have to do that logic lookup like we do with the Moodle, because we know the unit enrollment within the trainer thing. It'll just raise it directly for that. So we have designed it considering that we could reuse it for all these things, so that there's a consistency for the auto grade rules across the board for anything to do with grading of any unit enrollment.
Thank you. We have another question from Nikki. Is it a requirement to set up a new Moodle course or a unit each time you have a new offer starting? Or do you suggest using groups if you have multiple offerings throughout the year and some may overlap?
Yeah, so it should be, it's designed to work how you're doing it now. So, some customers preferred to have different courses set up in their e-learning to have those buckets of learners and sort of segregation. Others opt not to, depending on enrolling enrollments and stuff like that. So you don't have, you can or you cannot. So if you'd like to create new courses in Moodle and then have them sync over and then you map to them, you can do that. Or if you prefer to only have the one sort of course within your LMS, it comes over, and then you can, in this screen here, where you're setting up your e-learning courses for a course offer, you can have 20 WiseNet course offers all mapping to the same e-learning course. So it's up to you. The flexibility is there for you to do whatever you want to do.
Great.
And we'll work with you too as part of the transition to give the best, based on your situation, the best approach.
Thanks, Al. Marie, with e-learning integration, does it have to be totally e-learning, or can it be blended learning model with both e-learning and face-to-face? I think that depends on the type of courses you've set up in your e-learning platform, Marie, because we're talking about integration here, but when it comes to course setup, it's up to you, whether you want to have your content ready for completely online or blended, and you could have students still attending face-to-face class, especially if it's workplace-based courses. There's still people doing practical work placements, as well as training online or face-to-face in classrooms, and they may get online just to do the assessment. So it just depends. But in terms of giving them the access to the right course and bringing back the results, I think it doesn't matter if it's blended online or face-to-face.
Yeah, it's anything.
Yeah, it's anything. Thank you. Andrew, is autograde functionally? Oh, we've already answered that question. Sorry. Okay.
No, I think you just added to that though, Ash. Andrew's just said, once autograde functions is up and running, is it available at all subscriptions and versions?
Yeah, we'll talk. I think we do actually have new e-learning editions and licensing in that, but we have to sort of, it's every customer is on different editions and stuff anyway, so it's too hard to answer that. I guess the short answer is the auto grade feature is because it's all automation based, it is on a somewhat higher edition, but we just need to talk about that more in detail, but we'll do that individually.
Yeah, and Andrew, we can at the end of the session, Ash or Nalina are going to put up a link where you can make a time with us to have a discussion, and then we can work out which edition you need to be on to actually get the feature. So we can talk one-on-one with you or anybody else that needs that level of information.
Great, thank you. Any more questions? Monique, sorry, I didn't acknowledge that. Yeah, okay, I didn't have Janison as one of the options in there, but thanks for that information. Now let's just put up the engagement link. I'll also put in, Al, if you could just go to the quiz slide. I'm going to be putting in a link for a quick quiz. It's just 3 questions. Answer it to win a Wisnet hoodie, and of course, you'll enter a draw to win a $400 gift card as well. Thanks, Nell. So there's the quiz. So just click into it and answer those 3 questions for us, please. I'll also be announcing a lucky winner from today's session. So we already have the lucky winner. It's Marie New Ghent. Congratulations, you're the lucky winner for today for the Wasted Hitty. If you can please raise your hand. Thanks, Marie. Feel free to give us a call at any point in time or submit a ticket. We talked about blogs yesterday in one of our sessions. You know, if you have not read the blog about getting the right people on your bus, do read it. Jim Collins said, if we get the right people on the bus, the right people in the right seats and the wrong people off the bus, then we'll figure out how to take it to someplace great. So it's, again, you know, going back to what I said before, getting the right people on your team and, you know, working smart, I guess, rather than hard. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.